Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Saturday morning, so you know it's time for another live edition of the Extra Point. Pill Culture in the house. The First Lady of Sports, Tasha T. Sizzle, is in the house. How are you doing this morning, beautiful?
I'm good. I'm doing just good. Just fine.
All right.
Mighty.
Okay, mighty. Well, you're looking mighty fine.
And y'all, my
This
curtain
morning.
is not broken. It's windy, so the wind blew it open. Y'all know I was raggedy for what, about 3 months.
You were not. There will be no T. Sizzle slander on this show or anywhere I am in the vicinity of an ear shot. All right. Glad to see you this morning, Tasha. Excited to talk some sports with you on another Saturday. Let's start with last night. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed game 4 of the NBA Finals last night, then you missed a thriller. OKC overcame a 10-point deficit in the third quarter, outscoring Indiana 31-17 in the fourth to tie the series at 2 games apiece. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander must have been watching us because he said, I got your superstar, PL and T. Sizzle. He dropped 15 of his game-high 35 points in the final 4 minutes and 38 seconds of the game. His running mate, all-star Jalen Williams, had 27 points, 7 rebounds, and Chet Holmgren had a 14-point, 15-rebound double-double. The number one defense in the league was, as advertised in the fourth quarter, clamping down the Halliburton and company. Tasha, let's start with this. Did Indiana blow the series last night?
Wait a minute, before we even get into that, they're calling him, trying to give him the nickname The Moment.
Who, Halliburton?
Yeah, because they said, oh, Halliburton really ain't going to sell given, a certain situation. So they're trying to call him The Moment, which, again, why y'all keep trying to push people on us? Stop trying to push him on us. What they saying, Mean Girls? Stop trying to make fetch a thing. Like, stop.
What does that mean to the guys who's never seen that?
I mean, like, okay, in the group, the girl, she was just trying to say, oh, it's so fetch. Like, she wanted to make fetch a thing.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's like, y'all keep trying to push him on us, trying to give him a nickname and trying to do all of this. Just stop. Nicknames should happen organically.
Okay,
so OKC needed this victory more than anybody. Right. Stop trying to make fetch a thing.
Good morning, beautiful.
They needed this victory more than anything because I said to myself, if they go back to OKC at 3-1, it's over. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
I did notice that the refs have not been giving SGA all those ticky-tack fouls that he had kind of been, getting away with.
Yes.
Which is kind of making things a little bit more interesting.
Great observation. You're cooking early this morning. Okay. All right. We got something simmering on the stove. I like it.
But the Pacers needed this victory in order to solidify themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But OKC is not going down without a fight. And I really hate to be rooting against the Pacers because I got, my Indiana roots and everything. Yeah. But I don't like Halliburton. I don't like his daddy. Like, I would never forget his dad. I don't like they get down. So I'm definitely not rooting for them.
Let's play a quick game of impromptu this or that. Hallidad, we're going to call him Hallidad from here on out. Hallidad or T. Morant?
Oh, I'm going to take T because, see, I can vibe with T. Because T wasn't up in no player's face.
Right.
T is basically us if our kids made it.
Right. I'm with you.
No, I just thought what Hallidad did, I just thought it was very disrespectful.
It really was.
So after that whole incident, I don't like neither one of them get down.
It really did turn me off to the Indiana Pacers because I want to root for the Pacers. I like to root for the underdog, and plus I'm a salty Grizzlies fan. They swept my boys and ended Ja's season, so I wanted to see them humbled a little bit. But I do agree with you with the T versus Hallidad because T Morant seems like he comes off more as the parent that screams during the graduation when they tell you to be quiet and hold your applause. He seems more of that ilk than the I'm going to get in your friend's face and try to fight them.
T
Although
is
LeBron did.
This is my friend, not my son.
Right.
That's my boy, not my son. Which Sasha and I have that kind of relationship.
But not like that though. Behind the scenes, there's a mother-daughter dynamic.
I mean, I'm pretty sure behind the scenes it's a father-son dynamic too. But if Sasha was out there in the WNBA playing ball or whatever, that would be our relationship. They're gonna be like, "Girl, is that your mama or your sister?" Like,
that is very true. That is very true. Creased out, know what I'm talking about. Tasha, let's start with.
Well, I stink.
No, don't you stop. One of these days, I'm gonna have to really give a thorough explanation of that because a friend of mine hit me up offline and was like, "Man, she don't come off as the type to stink." I was like, "Let me break it down to you." Like they just did not see that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, "That no, just then I explained and they fell out laughing. I sent the reel and they was like, "Oh, okay, I get it now." He's like, "I know that she just didn't vibe and come off as the type that would stink," and she doesn't. She stayed with me for a whole week and the house smelled like effervescence. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, her number 2 didn't even stink. All right, we going too far. It didn't. I could come in right behind you. You must eat your juices and berries. You know, I came in right behind it and didn't whip
keep the show moving.
Keep the show moving.
See, had I digressed, I mean, had I went to the side, would start talking about that, you would have had something to say.
I would have. You're right. I'm wrong on this one. I apologize. You are absolutely right. Let's start with SGA. And I want to bring MJ into this conversation and we'll do the whole superstar thing. He had a superstar moment last night. I'm still not saying he's a superstar per se, but he had a superstar moment. And when I saw him, what he did in the fourth quarter of that game, given the fact that what you said, he wasn't getting the whistle, he had to get it out the mud last night. It reminded me of 2012 game 6 LeBron when he was with the Heat in Boston, season on the line, legacy on the line. He could not lose to Boston again, and he dropped 40-something points and got it to a game 7, ultimately got past Boston and won the title. It reminded me of game 5 flu game, MJ. Let me quote Fluke. He says it was food poisoning. I'm saying it was that yak. It was mixing brown liquor and clear liquor, but I digress. MJ in that game had 38 points in 44 minutes.
Stop.
What?
Let's You've been drunk before. I've been drunk before.
I've been drunk for 5, but 6, but 7.
And everybody out here watching and listening done been drunk before. Who the hell can stand up right?
No. What I'm saying, I'm agreeing with you. This was a drunkard game, and he played 44 minutes of high-stakes basketball. The part that's lost in that flu game was the series was tied 2-2, and Carmelo and John Stockton had home court advantage. You go down 3-2, having a game 7 in Utah, that changes everything.
Yeah.
So to play 44 minutes, drop 38 points, and win by 2, they needed every single one of those 38 points. That's a legacy game. That's a superstar game. MJ did that. So, when I saw SGA, I'm like, if they're going to win this championship, I'm going to look back at that. Well, he traveled. But that fadeaway to put him up finally in the fourth quarter, it was just a great game, great game.
What saved them was really if you started watching towards the end.
Yes.
When he was going up for the shot and he got fouled.
Yes.
Hit him right on the wrist. That changed the game.
Yes.
Right there. Yes. And that was the last 3 minutes of the game? Because they hadn't had a lead at all. And y'all know I'm normally asleep. My ass was up. And so I'm
proud of you for that because I went ahead and made some notes because I was like, oh, this game is starting to get into the wee hours of the DR morning. So I didn't know if you were going to be able to catch the end. I actually
stayed up just like I'm so glad I stayed up the other night and watched hockey.
Yes.
I don't know what it is about the NHL. Every game except for one has gone into overtime. The second game was the double overtime, and I stayed up and I'm just screaming because
Edmonton. Did you see that comeback?
Drysdale is out there doing his thing, baby. He has the most overtime goals in NHL postseason history.
Now see, y'all think I was just speaking hyperbole when I call her the first lady of sports. Monica ain't talking about no hockey. Let me
You know what?
digress because I'm handing you your flowers
I'm the
today.
first lady of ghetto sports.
No,
Yes. And then on top of that, he's getting married after this. His wife and some of the other wives were going to his fiance's bachelorette party during the first game.
see, like I love it. Y'all got y'all hockey fix here. Shouts out to Canada. Although Toronto, as we digress for just a second, I am thoroughly disappointed in y'all dancing to Not Like Us. You do realize he was talking about all of Canada, not just Drake, right? You
Yeah,
do
they
realize
get that. But the whole point is most people are not from it wasn't all of
Great
Canada,
point.
it was Toronto.
Great point.
Most
Great
people
point.
are not
Great point.
from Toronto. Most
You're right.
people
You're
are
right.
from the
You're right.
surrounding the Peel area, the 6. That encompasses more than Toronto. And on top of that, people know that Drake really don't F with people in Toronto. So there you
Okay.
have it.
Look, I'm down 0-2 already. I feel like Coco last week. I got to make a comeback to win the French Open. You got me on the ropes early. Good morning, Logan James. We see him using his burner account today, Michael Hasso. Can we say your legal name? Good morning with the eyeballs.
See, there you go. You can't even keep your mouth closed.
Y'all, I'm down 0-3. This series is over.
I'm going to speak your ass because you out here divulging secrets.
Right. Hey, DJ Patrick, good morning. What's up, man? Good morning, Michael. Hey, Michael, did you hear me give MJ his props? Did y'all hear that? It may be some more MJ love coming later in the show. Make sure y'all stick around for that. So, Tasha, we talked about the OKC portion of it. And while we do that, shout out to Chet Holmgren. You saw in the late in that game, they kept putting him in that pick and roll action, switching him out to the Halliburton. And he was staying in front of Halliburton. Yeah, my boy was trying to. Hey, Chet was like, where we going? I'm right here. His defensive play on the perimeter was critical in them getting those key stops down the stretch. So make sure we give him his flowers. Let's go to the Indiana side. Tasha, for the first time all postseason, it looked like, now correct me if I'm wrong, but just from my eyeballs, it looked like that for the first time all postseason, the gravity of the moment got to Indiana. Did you see that or did you see something different?
What I saw was a lot of the Indiana greats there.
Yeah.
Possibly trying to will them into a victory. But seeing how neither one of them have been, I mean, the OKC has been closer. Well, I mean, no, the Pacers have been there too, but this new era, that's what I mean. The new era.
Right.
Seeing how none of them have been there except for what's the one guy that has the championship that pays Siakam. They haven't been there. So you can't say, oh, the moment is too big for either team because neither one of them have been there.
Okay. Fair enough. And my position on that was you've got the championship right there. Like you said, if you go up 3-1, you pretty much you got a 90-something% chance of closing the deal, and you have a 10-point lead. When Halliburton threw the lob to Obi Toppin and they went up 86-76, I turned off Ghost. But
even going up 3-1, it's hard to win on somebody else's floor.
It is. But both teams have been able to do that in this series, and it is. Good morning, Farrah. Farrah, I'm gonna hold you to what you said last night, all right? I'm gonna hold you to that, Farrah. We'll get into that a little bit later. I'm gonna hold you to that. She got a whole new living room set out in the backyard.
I told you they come back, they selling taffy apples. That's a lie. Y'all sprinkle a
assy apples is what taffy apples something.
Y'all sprinkle a little something else on them apples and selling them. Y'all moving weight over there. You and Brand ain't slick.
Good morning, Brandy. Tasha, it's all like their patio furniture is bigger than my whole damn house.
I saw the setup. I said,
no, don't be laughing, Farrah. Don't be laughing. We know you got it like that.
Us to think they out here selling apples,
ladies and treats. Right, ladies and gentlemen, have you ever worked with someone and you think y'all make about the same amount of money, and then you roll up to their house like, how you make that on what? I know what we make at our job. What the hell are you doing? Like, okay, let's see. She's gonna shut us down with the God bless us. Got 7 stores yesterday.
Young, move that dough. Young, move that dope, ain't move that.
Hey, y'all moving that dope, and it's okay. It's Texas. We know you got cartel connects. I think someone else is moving dope on this show too. And they'll be back after our summer break. Because ain't no way. I'm trying to get in. They won't even get me in on it, Tasha. Probably because I say their government name. That's probably why. Let me digress on that. Does how the first 4 games, Tasha, to get back to basketball, do you think that will wane public interest towards a game 5 now that it's the best 2 out of 3?
I mean, it's because you're the one that always pulls up,
the ratings,
viewers, the ratings, and all that stuff.
No, before you go, let me throw this at you because I did. Game 2 was the lowest rated game 2, just like game 1 was the lowest rated game 1. Go ahead.
And you know what? Game 2, what did I tell you I was watching? I wasn't even watching the game.
You sure wasn't.
You sure wasn't. And I'm not lying. I did not. I think I was binge watching something on Netflix. And one of my daughter's friends had commented or posted something about when Michael Beasley talking about he could, match up with ISO Joe. And he was like, oh, Hoodie Carmelo. And I was like, no, what you don't understand is Michael Beasley taking away his mental issues was that one.
And LeBron James even said that Michael Beasley would cook him in one-on-ones in practice.
And that's what I was doing, having a discussion with him while game 2 was on. I'm watching something on Netflix.
If you all want to put something on your bucket list and you follow this woman on social media, engage in a sports debate with her, because you're going to get memes, you're going to get soliloquies, you're going to get stats, you're going to get emotion, and you're going to get a rebuttal. If you hit the ball over her side of the net, it's coming back. It's coming back. So I enjoy those banters, especially during football season when the Cowboys and the 49ers do a little dip. Those conversations when my Titans, I turn off my social media when my Titans lose because I know Tasha's coming. Y'all gonna be nice to me in Vegas if we get blown out.
I'm gonna be skating without a stick.
I love it. Don't change. Stay on the brother's neck. Stay on the brother's neck.
Hey, Pharaoh, if you still on here, I'm gonna try to give you a call maybe about 3:00 your time. Since somebody don't want to get on the group call, I'm gonna call you, Pharaoh.
Look, like I said, it's like any man. You let the woman plan because women are more organized than men. All we do is swipe the card, okay? For Christmas, the mama makes sure that everybody got everything on Santa's list. Hope y'all kids is old enough to know that. Okay,
how would you say tip drill?
I need I wanna. That was the old me, all right. That was pre I don't party like I used to me. But I'm just saying, normally the woman runs the household and the man just makes sure there's provision there. I'm the provision guy this trip, all right. Y'all tell me where to be and when to be there. I will make sure it happens. I will make sure we have our tickets. I will make sure that there are seats that you all are comfortable with. And I hope that the Titans are 0-3 so we can get them on the cheat. Okay? I digress. Tasha, let's
maybe this view make me look like National Geographic. What's going? Y'all I ain't.
This remind me of the lady, the sweet lady who came to National Tire and Battery when I was in college, and she was laboring in there. Okay, all right. It was like the soul food grandmama. She
looking like arms.
She put her on the counter and rested them. Me and Jason Clark, shouts out to Jason Clark. Me and Jason Clark had to run up out of the lobby. We was like, did she just throw her up on this? She had to rest them joints. Like, you going to the pool? Look, y'all take this offline.
I'm going to the beach, Farrah, after the show.
Okay, beach. All right. Now, Tasha, the Knicks, they're out here nicking. And I blame you. Ever since you gave them that moniker, things have gone downhill. They lost to Boston. They lost to Indiana. Then they fired their coach, Tom Thibodeau. If you've been in jail and just getting out off your warrants today, welcome back. But last week, the Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau after leading the franchise to their first Eastern Conference final in a quarter century. And since then, Tasha, they've been skating without a coach. They've been denied 5 times to interview current coaches under contract. Let's go through the list. Ime Udoka, Houston said no. Jason Kidd, Dallas said Chris Finch, Minnesota said sorry, not sorry. Tasha, now they're even asking Quinn Snyder with Atlanta and Billy Donovan from Chicago. I didn't even know Billy Donovan was still coaching in the NBA. I thought he was at like Utah State or something. These teams even said no, we'll keep our coach.
Speaking of, you didn't know somebody was still coaching. I was this playoffs years old before I realized Mike Conley was still in the league.
I'm glad you noticed before he retired, because he officially retired. But yes, he was still. Did you see how dejected he was sitting next to Ant-Man? How he was just
people were saying that too about Ant, how he was like, "Oh, I can get back, bruh. It ain't that easy." I mean, his pathway looks a little easier than most, but dude, that it ain't that easy.
Tasha, you have history to back you up on that. The last 2-time champion was Golden State, and they had the most stacked roster of the since the '80s Celtics.
And had Steph not gotten hurt,
and KD got hurt in 2019.
No, I'm talking about this.
Yeah, they were cooking.
I mean, KD tore his what is ACL? What did he?
Yeah, it was his Achilles.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as Denver, they didn't get back. Giannis didn't get back. Toronto didn't get back.
And Giannis was 1 and 2 when it came down to MVP voting.
And we're gonna talk about him in just a second. Tasha, should Knicks fans be worried with how this is playing out?
I mean, yeah. And then I think it's rude for them to try to poach these other coaches. If you're having issues finding a coach in New York, what you think these other franchises going to do when it comes time for them to try to find a coach? So what that's going to lead to is desperation. You're just going to go out here and get a coach just because you want a coach. But your organization and your owner, like I said, is the Jerry Jones East. When you have owners who are now, look, when you have owners who are too invested in themselves instead of trying to make the team better, this is what you get. You get jobs where don't nobody want to work for you. Now, I will give Jerry some credit. Jerry trying to do some things. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the heat off old Gerald, because he trying to do so. Other than his coach, Gerald got a stacked team. He come on, give Micah his money, and then we good.
Right. That part. Heavy on the we good after he get his money. Heavy on that.
Would you got that owner? No, nobody. I mean, the fact that you won't even let Charles Oakley back in the arena because you got mad because he was about to Peter roll your ass because you said something slick.
First of all, you said Peter roll. I haven't heard that in a long time. Second of all, Storm's granddaddy with the all white.
That's a distinguished look.
Right. If I had it, I would do it too. Storm's daddy, the way that they did him, that's probably the curse. The curse of Charles
fact
Oakley.
that you called that man Storm's daddy. If Google the beautiful African queen that is Storm.
Now, I'm gonna send this question to you. Good morning, Soul on Sports. Do the Knicks? They need to call Tibbs back and apologize and give him his job back. Would you do that, Tasha?
I mean, at this point, you got to save face. You can't call that man back. I do understand why they felt like they needed to fire him, but I don't understand why they fired him.
Oh, you just led me right into that. No, it makes perfect sense. And Jarrell, I thought about that too when I read the most recent ESPN report last night about this situation that we'll get into in just a second. I was like, damn, man. Like if Tibbs is like Tibbs wanted to be there, like, could you just call him back and make amends? Like, but then that's like we all went to the prom. Tasha, you were beautiful on prom night in your fuchsia. That's like
fuchsia today too.
That's like okay, all right. I almost got distracted. That's like dumping your prom date. No, because I saw under the mesh. Okay. You putting 30 to shame, and you on 25's neck, okay? You putting 30 to shame, and you on 25's ass right now. I seen under the mesh in the pre-roll. The pre-roll is where it's at, y'all. Before I hit that blue live, but I signed an NDA, y'all, so I can only say so much. This is what the Knicks did is the equivalent of dumping your prom date 3 weeks before the prom, and now you going around school asking girls who already have a date to go with you, and they're like, "Nah, I got a date." Like, no, my boyfriend ain't gonna let me. My date ain't gonna let me just get up. Now, who you going with? The third period lunch girl? The drunk, like where you going?
You gotta take Boom Wop.
Boom Wop is not Kitchen Strays, y'all. They don't know. People not in Nashville don't know who that is, but that was very mean. Good morning, Miss Hastings. Good morning, Jody. Jody, hold on. Just stop. As Tasha would say. Did I see you posted up next to a Bentley the other night?
Yeah. Jody, we need answers.
What are y'all? I almost said ninjas. What are all y'all doing in the goon squad to be having all this damn money?
We about to put you in the conversation with Farrah and
right. Joe, I already had questions on your occupation because of the days and times in which you did your show. I was like, when did this brother work? I seen him at noon. I seen him at 6:30. He's like Sports Center. He got an AM Sports Center, a PM Sports Center. He's on game day 7 days a week. I was like, what the hell do you do, Tommy? Then I see you next to a Bentley. Put a brother on. Y'all got remote work? I can log in. Tasha, what they doing?
Young enough to still sell dope, but old enough that I knows better.
We got some ballers in the chat, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. We got that 850 credit score goon squad going on around here. Now, I'm going to get to what you said here in just a minute. But good morning, AP Culture. Speaking of money. Well, we're going to leave that alone. Good morning, Martrice Hastings. Speaking of money, these homeowners in the chat today. Look at these. Thank you. I saw that. Right. You saw that car. Your sugar mama got it. Where's the sugar daughter?
And where her brother at?
I'll rub some feet. I'll rub some old feet. You ain't even got to lotion them. For a Bentley?
Boy, we so cheap in this chat.
Look, for a Bentley?
That's all it takes.
There will be macaroni and cheese or stirring. I don't care how old she is, okay?
I'm getting ready to close this. Because if you know when he said macaroni and cheese, if you know. And your mama is watching this show.
She is. I just looked up and saw her name again.
I'm about to log out.
Mama, it'll be worth it. It face look like a glazed donut, but we going to the casino. We going to Vegas, Mama.
I'm not doing this because you said stirred macaroni.
Yeah, there's gonna be some macaroni stirring going on. But for a Bentley?
Nope.
Hey, what did Marcus do with Lady Eloise?
Can it get dark?
Can it get a little darker in here? Jody, you just come on the chat and derailed the show. Congratulations. He says hire Bill Parcells for the Knicks. See, this is why you can't. And this is why I'm going to go back to what Tasha said. Thank you, Jody, for getting us back on track. Tasha said before I went off the rails because of the Bentley that she knows what they did, but she's not really sure why. That leads me to what Brian Windhorst, ESPN NBA analyst and insider, said. He said that the players, Tasha, wanted him gone. And it took me back to what I saw on social media a couple of days after the firing with them in New York partying it up when their coach just got fired and they just got bounced out by the Indiana Pacers. I thought the optics of that was kind of odd. But now that I see that they wanted the coach out of there, and the thing is, I don't want to get too far in the weeds with this question, but I thought about this and I thought about you specifically when I read that from Brian Windhorst. Is this what you mean by this generation being soft?
Yeah, they in the club talking about ding dong, the witch is dead, witch, oh right. Witch, the wicked witch. They were in. I'm like you. I'm like, why are they in the club? And then, like I said, when the reports come out, it was a player-led revolt, quote unquote. What it is they said we tired, boss. We not finna play. We not finna play 43 of the 48.
But we just said that Michael Jordan, off a hangover, played 44 minutes, dropped 38.
But you
see, this is where I'm going to be pliable because I've defended the soft generation, right, Gail King?
That's what I was just getting ready to say till I read y'all. If y'all don't know, Jody has this affinity for Gail King.
He really does.
Is his woman. He don't care what you say. Gail is his woman. But I told you that. But now you and your
no. There's nuance to this conversation.
Your little commentators that was chiming in on YouTube got all up in their feelings because I called them soft with a capital T.
They did. And come back. Don't be scared. Like, come back. You told me to shut up. I posted it. I was like, I ain't going nowhere. We right back this morning. Look, I don't think that this generation is soft. I don't think you could be a top 1% of your profession in sports and be soft. I do think this was soft if that's why they got rid of. Like, I think two things can be true. I would totally agree. Knicks players, when y'all was the bottom basement barrel franchise post Carmelo Anthony and before Jalen Brunson and them kind of went on their little mini run before Tibbs got there, how many minutes was y'all playing then when you was getting mollywopped every?
But you know, when you start winning and people start paying attention, you feel like you're a little bit. Yeah, we are. You feel like you're a little bit better. Your head gets big. Your head swells up.
Right.
And that's what I say. People always say Jordan was rude. Jordan was nasty. Jordan was bully.
He was.
But Jordan's head had always been big because he could back up everything that he said and did. Not tis.
Right.
He could back up everything that he said and did because no matter what, Jordan was going to go out there and give you 100%.
Right. Good morning, Melanie Taylor.
Look at the lady in red celebrating her, is it 25th Deltaversary?
Hey, you be on it. That's what's up. You the shout out queen. And hey, good morning, Melanie. You're looking fantastic. Looks like the women in the chat know about that macaroni cheese. Y'all got that Velveeta? That's what they said. They said they got that Velveeta. I ain't mad at you.
No, we ain't using no Velveeta. We making a nice roux and boneless cookies.
Oh, it's gonna be a bone, all right. It ain't gonna be boneless. It's gonna be a bone.
How do I log out?
You're gonna get a bone in it.
Your button.
I digress. Tasha, I don't want to put this on the entire generation because I don't think the entire generation is soft. This was a soft move because if you can't be coached hard, if you can't have a boss not have to placate to your feelings and your emotions on the job, then I have an issue with that. Now, as it relates to kids and the old school, I think that's a different nuanced conversation. But when it comes to work, your profession, your job, why does your boss have to hold your hand and stroke your hair and gaze into your eyes and do the tears away on the cheeks with your thumb? I don't subscribe to that.
I mean, you can even put LeBron into this conversation, not being soft, because even though LeBron is a puppet master, because LeBron is that man, he can move this fool.
Look, to his detriment sometimes as well. Let's be fair.
Right, he can move some things around, but when he's not injured, LeBron gonna give you everything he got.
Everything. I'm giving you the best that I got.
But again, look at his age and look at who he's playing against. I keep telling you, this generation to me is just a softer generation of player and shit.
Okay, look. Let's meet in the middle then, because this has been a spring/summer long conversation. The ER is where we meet in the middle. This generation is softer than our generation, but I don't think they're soft because we were softer than the generation before us. I will subscribe to that.
Well, that is true because I don't think we could win out there and got 100 points and some Chuck Taylors.
Right.
Your shoes had no fucking support. It's like a piece of cardboard.
Right. But Knicks, I hope you get what you asked for. All right. A soft, mushy, spineless coach that lets you run the music and Mikal Bridges. I'm calling you out specifically. They gave up 5 first-round picks, 4 unprotected for you, and you're the one complaining about playing too many minutes?
Mhm.
You, for what we gave up? Like,
They want all the glory with no grit.
right. Oh, I like that. Y'all might see that on the reel on Monday evening. All of the glory and no grit. I don't subscribe to that. When it comes to work and work ethic, there is a definite line of delineation between soft and not soft. And I agree with you a gazillion percent. This is some soft ass shit, Tasha. You got me cussing on a Saturday morning. Like one of the best bosses that I ever had in employment here in Dallas, well, anywhere really. I hated her guts, Tasha. I hated her guts. If I saw her right now stranded on the
Hey,
side,
as I'm about to.
Tasha, right now, if it was a thunderstorm outside and she was standing outside her car with a jack trying to jack her car up, I would go in the puddle and splash her. But
Damn, tell us how you really feel.
she turned me into a monster in my desired field. And she put me in a position to change my resume and to command more money post that job. So as I'm saying that tongue in cheek about splashing her, I would, but then I would pull over, put her in the car, and have her wait for AAA because she made me better. It was tough. She was brutally honest. She coached hard. She taught hard. Her level of accountability was on 1,000. She was a badass too, though. She was a lawyer, and she got it. She got it.
Oh,
We
I
were,
know who you. Oh, I didn't know it was a contentious relationship. I know who you're talking about now.
yeah, it was very contentious. But you know why I never complained? Because I'm in Canada doing proceedings. I'm being a paralegal without no legal experience.
And you had an embosser.
Yes, like I was like she put me in a position to kind of change the trajectory of my professional career. But she was tough to work for. So Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges and Kitty Cat, I'm gonna call you Kitty Cat for this conversation. Y'all miss me with that, man. Like, come on, man. You gotta be able to be coached hard, man. Like, Knicks, that was some soft shit. I'm sorry. That was
They
y'all
nicking. I told
weak.
you. The Knicks are nicking.
Now, Jody, when I say this, I'm called an apologist for the soft generation, Jody. Maybe they'll hear from you. Jody said this generation only do what they're allowed to do. That's what I was saying last week. And the chat kicked me in the ding ding.
I mean, it is true because, like I just said,
Thank you, Jody.
we went at the beginning of the show how we were saying the T and Ja comparison is like me and Sasha. Even though we're parents, we're more like friends. But it ain't too much shit Sasha gonna get away with. Even
Can,
at this
can Sasha say I'll shut up with that shit?
no. Even at this ripe old age of 30, God willing, she'll be in September. It's a lot of shit she can't get away with. And they are allowed to get away with too much shit.
That's true. There are certain cuss words, and I will be 50 in 8 weeks. There are certain cuss words I still don't say in front of my mama. She get the FCC regulated cuss words. Damn, hell, oh golly, geez, mom. You know, she can say whatever she wants to me. Like,
yeah, because I've heard Mama Coulter.
now, look, we ain't dry snitching, mama, but I'm just saying there's certain words I just don't say in front of her. You know what I'm saying? Still, just because that's my mom. Now, my mama is more of a friend to me now than a mom. You know, she did her job. She raised me right. I'm self-sufficient. I'm on my own. I always promised her as a sidebar that whenever she saw my name on the caller ID, that she know I'm not asking for nothing. I just really want to talk to her. I said, that's my gift to you for raising me right out on my own. But let's not get it twisted. At whatever her age is now, that will remain undisclosed. If I came in there with some, the fuck you say to me? That would have been the last extra point.
As soon as you said that, I immediately pictured Mama Coulter's face.
That would be the last episode of the extra point.
She'll have that cigarette. She go that cigarette down.
No. She gonna put it out on me.
Okay, Rick James.
Right. They don't take charge, handle their stuff. They can do whatever they are. She put that in all caps. And look, I knew that this would take us back down a rabbit hole that I really didn't want to go down, but I just wanted to say that I'm not saying that I'm saying well, softer. I like that, but this was a soft move. There's no debating that if the players wanted him out because I'm playing too many minutes. I'm making guaranteed money. If I play, if I don't play, I still get paid. I'm not now. Good morning, Langston. Speaking of somebody who would never be accused of being soft. Good morning, Uncle Langston.
Louisville's finest. Shouts out.
So let's go here, Tasha, because Firebird. Shouts out to the Bugs. Looks like that she's on her way to do great things. Tasha, the two names that have come up now that they done ran through all of the good coaches, are Mike Brown and Taylor Jenkins, who just got fired from Memphis earlier this year. If you had to do a this or that,
I would take Mike Brown because Mike Brown does have, to me, coaching top level talent when he was, LeBron and everything, and he did pretty good in Sacramento. I think they gave him, a raw deal out there in Sacramento. I would take Mike Brown, and he's been around. He's somebody that could handle that New York media.
He could.
I would definitely go with Mike Brown.
Tasha, I agree with you, and I disagree with you at the same time. I agree with you that Mike Brown is the better choice, but the reason why he got sent away from Sacramento is because De'Aaron Fox and all those players was complaining about him, going back to what we just originally talked about.
Again, I think at that time the brother was just happy to get that, you know what I'm saying, to get that gig.
He was like the game on their ass, though. He had them back in the playoffs. Sacramento had been
that's what I'm saying.
Left.
So now that he's already tasted that, he's been a head coach. He has the head coaching experience. He knew I'm the captain now. He knew that they took over the mayor's damn containers over in the Indian Ocean on his ass.
Nice.
So now he would be, more equipped if he goes to New York.
Are you talking about a robot or Allen Iverson? Because Allen Iverson would drop kick one of these new players.
Right.
You'll see him come in without his braids in, and somebody's going to get whooped in practice.
He's gonna be in practice, and his mama gonna be braiding his hair again like she did on the sideline.
He's gonna be like, run it again.
That's when y'all know y'all done messed up. When he come to practice and y'all just there dribbling and he getting his hair braided. That means he fed up.
Right. That means he's fed up, and he might cross you up too. This is why I think that they would probably lean towards Taylor Jenkins. And this is not a compliment to Taylor Jenkins at all. He was a good coach in Memphis, but the Memphis Grizzlies last year under his watch were 30th, dead last in the league in starter minutes played and first in bench minutes played. He was real careful. Bench minutes. Bench, B-E-N-C-H.
Beth. B-I-R-T-H. Beth.
Mr. M-I-S-T-E-R. Mr. So if you got a whiny crybaby, we don't want to do the work type of roster, Taylor Jenkins is your man. He's out there doing this with John Morant pregame, and John Morant is like, man, I'm not listening to you. You tell me to quit doing the guns, whatever, I'll do it again. You tell me not to do this I'll do it again. Like, he couldn't tell. Like, he's not going to.
It's almost like, again, here we go back to that dynamic. It's almost like they want a damn friend and not a coach.
That's what Taylor Jenkins was. That's exactly what he was.
And his ass got walked up out of there. I mean, they want a friend, they want a buddy, they want a Mike Vrabel type. Who people say Coach Mike Vrabel is a players, coach, or what's the Dan Campbell. They want one of those type of coaches. But what those coaches command is respect.
They do, and Vrabel will beat your ass.
And have you seen the guns on?
Vrabel will
choke shit out of you. Dan Campbell choke shit out of you.
Right, and Dan Campbell is not to be trifled with. He's not going to. Is she talking about the Chicago Sky? Because Angel Reese was deplorable last night. I was embarrassed. Angel Reese, Denise, just let me know in the comments, and we're not going to digress into that. If you watched any of that Chicago Atlanta game last night,
she was out celebrating a friend's birthday.
Okay, because Angel Reese is becoming indefensible now. And applaud their coach, the new brother that's coaching them, for taking her out of the game when they were down 19 with like 4 minutes left, when she was 1 rebound shy from a empty calorie double-double. He benched her. He was like, no, I'm not leaving you in here to grab no 10th rebound. Come sit down. I respect that brother for that, because she was horrible last night. I love you, Angel Reese. I'll defend you to the end, but you were smoking layups My God.
I think she needs to rebrand herself as the female version of Dennis Rodman. I think that's where her team needs to rebrand her, because scoring is not it. I mean, for all we know, she could be going through something up here.
That's very
all
fair.
the criticism and everything that she is taking.
That's fair.
But if you're not mentally able to handle that, you need to rebrand yourself.
There was, and the thing is, look, that's me being on my feelings. She was like, "No, I'm still talking about the color purple, sky, SKY."
Oh, that's right. That's this sky, SKY.
See how dog whistlers that Farrah got me about Brick Barbie. Like, I want her to do so well so I can troll Farrah's show, Our Take. Make sure y'all watch it after the extra point. Like, so Denise says, and she wanted to charge $1,000 for them damn Reebok shoes.
First of all, only Reebok shoe I'm wearing is the Dominique pump ups or the AIs. Other than that, I'm not wearing no Reeboks.
Hey, AI and Jadakiss had that commercial back when those dropped, when he was doing the beat.
Unless I was a Southern dancing doll and they wear the Princess Reeboks. The other than that, I'm not wearing no Reeboks.
Sasha said something a few weeks ago when we were talking about the whole Dennis Rodman thing, and I need to do that, Tasha. I'm going to take your advice, because I'm going to quit looking at her as a potential face of the league, future face of the league, or face of her franchise, and look at her as a Dennis Rodman, because Dennis Rodman did make it to the Hall of Fame playing that role. But Denise, remember when you said that she was rushing her shots? She had a couple of wide open layups to where I was like, why are you going so fast and tripping over your feet? And then she had a great steal one time at the top of the key. She's going down on a one-woman break, and she had these long ponytails. It was like going down her back. Tasha, in the middle of her move, she flipped her ponytail out of the way. Like, why are you thinking about that right now? Why ain't your hair in a bun? Let me digress.
I mean, and the thing is, I just looked it up. Dennis Rodman averaged 7.3 points a game.
And nobody questions his importance to the teams that he played on.
Nobody. The Pistons nor the Bulls. Even down in the Spurs when he was wearing dresses and blonde wigs. Nobody was questioning.
Right. Wait a minute. Tree's checking in. She says, I did. All I kept thinking was Brick Barbie. As Farrah said, Farrah, you started this. And you were right. And I'm glad somebody else saw that, because that was, oh my God. Talking about she knows her worth. Okay, a woman's worth.
And again, I love how the new WNBA players are coming through with the tunnel drip. But if she don't learn how to walk in heels, she may need to put on some flats and start wearing them Reeboks through that tunnel.
Hey, she had on makeup last night too.
Because her feet.
Hey, several women had on makeup last night. It was a very feminine aesthetic to that game last night. Although they had like these city jerseys on, and both teams looked like they had on the same damn jersey, and it blended into the floor. It kind of gave me a headache.
I'm okay with you wearing, if you got on a little makeup, but go out there and play. You got to still play. I wasn't wearing them Shaqs, Jody. Shaq did have a pretty decent Reebok.
They were kind of bulky.
They were
really bulky for a female. Yeah, they were a little bulky for a female.
Dominique pump ups was a thick shoe. AI shoes were thick. They just went high tops. Remember, AI didn't wear high tops.
Reebok was on that BS with the bulkiness. The Emmitt Smith Reebok shoes are very bulky as well. Like that's why my calves are so big now. I'm wearing those for 3 years back in the 90s. Farrah says she has a segment for her today. Chime in. I will definitely chime in. Make sure y'all chime in as well. Martree says, like I said before, she is hard to watch. I've never been a fan of hers, but want her to succeed. She is hard to watch. That's just a fact.
And not to put a Caitlin Clark spin on things. One of my friends was over here watching the game last night, and the Dominican friends. I have two Dominican friends, and they put a Caitlin Clark commercial on, and you know what he said? Oh, she's the best basketball player. And so I said, no, she's not. I said, she's very, very good. I said, but Asia Wilson is the best basketball player in the WNBA right now.
She is.
But the fact that sometimes like it's what's pushed upon you and what is put upon you, you can't handle that. I think they were trying to push so much on Angel that she can't handle it like Caitlyn is able to handle everything that's coming towards her. Right. And so when I put up a picture, I said, no, this is the best woman in basketball right here. He thought that was Angel Reese because they don't know.
Right. It's time for us to once and for all stop the Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. It's not a fair fight.
It's no longer up for debate.
It's no longer up for debate. Like, we can have siloed conversations regarding those two individually on their individual games, but it's time to put Angel Reese into the Dennis Rodman bucket. Like,
yes, she needs to rebrand herself as
a grinder, right? A grinder, a piece to a championship team, not the face of a championship team.
He was the worm. She needs to be the wormette.
It was.
What?
Sean Kemp was on a podcast not too long ago, and he said their biggest downfall in the 96 finals against MJ's 72-win team was Dennis Rodman. Like, because of the chaos that he created with the offensive rebounds and the defensive rebounds and his defensive tenacity. Just be that, Angel. Just be.
You know what I'm laughing at? Speaking of Sean Kemp, shouts out to Boogie Cousins. Shouts out to Boogie Cousins.
Remember, Martin was like, "Oh, this is you. I ain't been nowhere in a week. This you. This you. Oh, this is you."
And all I got to say on that DeMarcus Cousins, like we said in the chat, that it was a man back there with
you got to die
cleaning up. I'd have taken that squeegee and he put his ball stanch in my face. His big ass would have went down that day. It would have probably took 5 or 6 of us, but I would have took that pole and yeah.
Basketball balls.
You don't put your scrotum smell in my face.
Basketball balls. All of the fellas know around after lunch, about 2:30 in the summer. Stay away from down there. Stay away from around there. Like, that's not.
Go ahead.
I'm digress. All right. Joe Langston says, I think she gets a raw deal from the beginning. As a black man raised by a black woman who raised 4 girls, I find the need to protect her. I rise up when she gets attacked. B-ball game aside, that's just
as we all do. We, as a young black woman, I do find myself defending her blackness, her femininity. That's like what I always have to stand up and say, no, this is a young black woman and I'm going to protect her. Like, I mean, you know, we joke and say things, but sometimes I feel bad because I feel like me as a black woman who is raising a black daughter is not protecting that. But she's giving us so much ammunition, or other people ammunition, to talk about other things than supporting her. You know, yeah, she is brash, but that's just her. You can't say, oh, she had, because somebody said, oh, at the BET Awards, they gave it to the person with the nastiest attitude. You didn't even have to say all that, bro. Just say, out of all the other female athletes, how did she win? It's constantly they're attacking her character.
Right.
And I think they're attacking her as a black female. And I do feel bad in that aspect. Sometimes I do. Like, I feel myself clapping back sometimes on Twitter to people. Mm-hmm. Like, don't, hey, come on. We got to lift this sister up. And when a teammate at the press conference.
Right. Flage?
No.
Oh, Atkins. Yeah. When she defended her, yeah.
How she had to defend her, and you could kind of see it in Angel's. Sometimes you look at her, and you could see that girl on the verge of, like, tears. Mm-hmm. But again, is some of this warranted? Yes. That's why I said her team needs to rebrand her.
Yeah, and I think that, and Candace Parker said it very eloquently earlier this week when she was talking about the CC versus the Angel Reese narrative and how she's not falling into that because their games are so different. She was very guarded and careful in the way that she presented it. And to Candace Parker is the GOAT to me. Like that, that's my number one. She said there are lots of things that AR can work on. And she kind of left it at that. She said, but Caitlin Clark is just like a different level of athlete. Like, my defense of her and my wanting her to win is to shut up the trolls.
Yeah.
Period. I'm not invested in the Chicago Sky. I'm not. I don't care. But I want her to win. I want her to have some good, positive clips. I want her to get a 2020 game. But last night, like, I'm not even going to look her up on Twitter today because I know they about to. Some of those shots are going to be viral.
You got a rookie in Paige Beckers that's coming out here. She comes straight off her injury. What does she do?
Sarah just dropped it. 35 after concussion.
What did Paige Buckets do? She back out there like she ain't never left because she's letting her game speak. Do she come through the tunnel with her drip on too? Yeah, but as soon as that drip comes off and she putting on that Dallas jersey, all that other stuff goes out the window.
Here's my thing, and Angel has bumped a couple of people to next week, which is good, so we can have some more content for next week. But here's my thing, fellas. I'm talking to the guys out here. I have never seen a man so angry with a woman that he's not sleeping with. What man beefs with a woman, got beef with a woman he ain't fooling with? That's weird energy, bro. I'm seeing grown men, my brothers especially. I'm seeing grown men do the off the court stuff with her, where it's just overkill. Bro, that's a lady. Like, me and Tasha ain't never had no beef. Me and Martrice, we make jokes about it all the time. 30 years, no beef. Like, what you like?
It's like I was listening to this interview with Cam Newton. Y'all know he toxic, just like Future, just like Nick Cannon, just like Elon Musk, making all these babies.
Elon in there, keep going.
I mean, he toxic too. They out here making all these babies. And he was on with K. Michelle. And the part of, I think, the interview that people are going to miss is how she was saying, she basically told him to his face, you out here creating broken homes, regardless of whether you taking care of them, regardless of whether you showing up at practices and games for them. She says, you're not, basically what she said was, what you're doing, you're not protecting Black women. And she says Black men do not protect Black women because, like I said, Nick Cannon's the same. I mean, now he got a rainbow tribe, but you're out here creating broken homes. You had one of his baby mamas talking about, he hasn't seen his kids in months. But I also fought you because you knew he had 10 kids before you had number 12.
We are not doing this on Father's Day weekend. We are not. I'm just saying what it is. But it's like to have grown Black men sit up and bash this young Black queen. I mean, Jody, without the rebranding, it's not. She's Madison Avenue, darling. And what she really needs is to win. The Chicago Star are not good.
She needs to win. Whether she's scoring or not, she needs to win because she's the one that's getting invited to the Met Gala. And I told Farrell the other day, I said, it's almost like she's working on her off-court.
And she is. And I don't blame her. And here's why I don't blame her.
Because that WNBA money, first of all, is short.
It is.
They're trying to come into things where you can get a little retirement and get benefits and stuff for your families. Her Madison Avenue money is going to be longer. But Angel, you're going to have to make a choice. Either you want to be pretty and feminine off the court, or you're going to have to, like Paul said, at least braid that ponytail up and get out there and at least score 7 or 8 points along with your 15 rebounds.
Right. Now, she did have 17 against the New York Liberty on Tuesday night. She was just really bad in Atlanta. Maybe she was at Strokers, or maybe she was at Magic City, or maybe just the Atlanta vibe. I'm just saying, like, she's culturally relevant. You know what I'm saying? Like, but here's the thing. She just needs to win. Like you said, if she can be the Dennis Rodman on a championship team, and she gets a couple of Pascal Siakam rings, where that was Kawhi's team, but he got the hardware, and with hardware comes respect. That's just how it works. If they're at the bottom of the WNBA again this year, they didn't make the playoffs last year. They are morbid. They're almost unwatchable, offensively challenged. They have no shooting guards. It's a tough watch, and as long as she's at the bottom of the league and at the top of the trending cycle, there's going to be that dichotomy that she's not taking her career seriously, fair or fair. Now, Langston says, that's my point. Pussy ass men attacking her, I digress, just wasn't raised like that. Me neither. Like, I have a baby sister. There's not going to be a day on this earth where me and my brother Damien are attacking her, like jumping on her about something. Like,
well, first of all, Steph will scratch our eyeballs out. I'm just going to.
Oh, yeah, it will be a tussle.
Steph ain't got no back down in her.
It will be a tussle, right, wrong, or indifference. I got her back. And then if we need to have an offline conversation one-on-one, we can do that. But I'm never going to publicly shit on my sister. That's my baby sister. That's a female. That's a woman. Like, bro, like, and there's that kill her too, but I'm gonna let that be what it is. I'm gonna let that be what it is. For whatever reason they do that, I'm gonna let that be what it is. But for us, we can set the example. That's all I'm saying. Torrance checking in. What's up, T girl? Her career is off the court more than on it. That's true. I would love to argue with you on that, T Dub. That's true. You want a final word on Angel Reese? If you were her in her camp and can get in her ear for this offseason and beyond, what are you telling her as Auntie Sizzle?
You need to your goal need to be the defensive player of the year.
Right there. Right there. See, remember earlier in the show when I said if you ever wanted to have a nice engaging conversation, get in Tasha's DMs and argue with her about sports, you're gonna get some stuff extrapolated. And that right there is what my whole diatribe was trying to get to. Where does she fit in this WNBA? Defensive player of the year, rebound queen, defensive player of the year, be the Kimbet Mutombo on a championship team, right? And for goodness sakes, quit wearing braids down to your ass cheeks. If you got to fling it out of you're flinging it on a fast break and then you smoke the leg. I'm not going to.
I mean, I think she was trying to do that to go viral. Oh, hair flip. Later.
Oh, it's going to go viral. But look at the comments then, Angel. Turn off your comments, Angel, if that's what you're trying to do to go viral. Now, look, this is an 11-year-old. He says, hey, Uncle P, this is my nephew Carter. He says, you're talking about the rebound chase.
Hey, Carter.
Damn, hey, Carter. What? I love that boy. Y'all know I will lay in front of a train track for that kid. Y'all know this.
Doesn't do right.
I love that boy. Damn it. Remember Della Reese? Just love that boy. Making the sandwich. He done shot her.
That bread was this thick, and that layer of tuna was this thin.
I love that boy. That gummit. You ain't gonna be broke when your uncle go on to heaven. Let's just put it that way. Now that don't mean y'all can kill me because y'all may mess up the money. Don't be trying to murder ain't gonna count.
Carter, I'll unplug that machine.
Carter, we good, Carter. It's like Auntie got you.
TT Tasha got you, Carter.
Carter, be nice, Carter. But this is what they saying. This is what they saying. Now, Torrance is going to get the last word on this topic. He says, my advice is to decide what is more important to you, play ball or be a media star. Michael Hasso, who will be on the show when we start our countdown to kickoff in a few weeks, he'll be back. He said, she's a social media influencer to me. And he don't even watch basketball like that. He's not even invested enough to pick a side. He said, I'll just look at her as a social media influencer. There we go. Tasha, it's time for T-Sizzle's Top 5. And like we did for Mother's Day weekend, we're going to do the same for Father's Day weekend. We're going to do T-Sizzle's Top 5 TV dads of all time. The floor is yours.
Okay, I got Uncle Phil.
Yes, he's on my list.
Got Carl Winslow. And a lot of people sleep on this man because a lot of us didn't watch this show. Phil Dunphy from Modern Family, man. That
yes.
Y'all just got to go back and watch. What was I saying? Modern Family, because it is funny as hell. Hold on. Wait a minute, I lost my list. Hold on. I have Jack Pearson. I don't know who didn't watch This Is Us. That man went into a burning house to get something for his child and lost his life. That
definitely puts you on the list.
And Paul, this is something that's gonna make us laugh from the song we were talking about last week. I got Stephen Keaton from Family Ties.
Yes. You know what? He was a gentle leader. He let his kids be them. One was a liberal, one was a conservative, and he gave them both the same amount of love. He never picked a side.
You remember when Tom Hanks guest starred on there? He was his brother, and he was an alcoholic, and he was drinking the vanilla extract.
He sure was. Michael Keaton was trying to take it from him.
They got the fighting over a bottle of vanilla extract. And of course, my last one, just honorable mention, y'all, a lot of people hate him, but Bill Cosby is the best, hands down.
I was going to ask you, is Heathcliff Huxtable retired like Claire Huxtable?
Yeah, we're gonna not because of the allegation.
No. We're talking TV dad, not real life person.
He's retired because to me he was the best example of a TV dad. So like I've retired Jordan, I've retired like the Ali's and Steve McNair's.
Yes.
Bill Cosby is now on that retired list.
Okay, I just wanted to know if it was okay for me to retire him or keep him on my list. Okay, so he's retired, so I will skip over him. Number one on my list, Julius Rock.
I knew you were going to say.
Julius Rock, come on now. He loved Rochelle. Rochelle didn't even have to work. Rochelle running up the credit card bills. Langston says Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil is on my list, Philip Banks. I have Al Bundy.
I did have Al Bundy on there.
Al Bundy had a wife who refused to work, cook, or clean.
Do anything.
He had two kids that were always into some shenanigans, and he had an unfulfilling job at the shoe store. And he never cheated. He never beat them kids. He never did anything. Right, Steph. Rochelle stayed in the beauty shop. No, Rochelle was clean to never have no damn job. Like, Julius worked third shift, second shift, first shift. Yes, Julius. Shouts out to Stephanie Coulter this morning. I got Mike Brady from the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, I had it. I looked at him, but I just kind of said, nah.
He took them through. Ain't that what y'all women like? Somebody to take your kids and raise them like their own? Huh?
One day when the lady met this fellow.
You don't think he touched none of them daughters, do you? Let me stop. Hank Hill was on my list, Langston. Shouts out to Hank Hill. Hank Hill.
John Redcorn, who tragically lost his life a couple of weeks ago.
R.I.P. And speaking of cartoon dads, I got Homer Simpson on there as well because he was a provider. He held it down for his kids. Although I guess it's easier when they never grow out of their clothes. So he ain't never like. Shouts out to Homer Simpson. And I got James Evans as my honorable mention. And Langston, this is why I got James Evans as honorable mention. He waited for his kids to get old before he faked his death to leave Florida. He at least let them get into high school before he faked his death. I respect that because he had to get the hell up out of there. Florida was effing up the bag, big time, in good times. He needed he needed to switch it up. Florida, Men don't get you a Florida Evans.
I ain't said a word.
Charles Engle. Who's Charles Engle?
From Little House on the Prairie. Michael, what was his name?
Y'all went.
Yeah.
Michael, okay. Yeah, Florida was a hater. Every time they had a get-rich-quick scheme, she always put the kibosh on it and then was like, well, James, you can go make $3 an hour working on the elevator shaft. Like, man, shut the hell up.
Like she didn't want to say on JJ but hating on JJ and that painting. Because she talking about it was Ned the Wino. It was Black Jesus.
That's who you shouting out this week.
I'm shouting out, of course, all fathers near and far. And I actually made my list because y'all know I be forgetting. Shouts out to Shamar Stewart. And if you guys don't know who Shamar Stewart is, Michael Landon. If you guys don't know who Shamar Stewart is, he is the draft pick of the Cincinnati Bengals who refuses to sign his contract.
When Mike comes back, we're going to talk about that. Go ahead and give us a preview.
Because Cincinnati trying to put this man in a loophole. Now, I do think maybe, and I think Ocho Cinco had said this, maybe they know something that we don't know. Maybe he acts a fool off the off the field as to why they put that clause in there. Basically, if he does anything, he doesn't get any of his guaranteed money. They have the right to take that money back.
Right.
My next one is to Deshaun Jackson. Shouts out to Deshaun Jackson, former NFL wide receiver who is now the head coach of Delaware State. And how we were joking about Allen Iverson, if he was the coach, if he got fed up, he would be sitting there. But you were like, yeah, Allen Iverson can still cross you over. Deshaun Jackson said that he may not can keep up with his players, but he still runs those drills with them when it comes time for running, training, and conditioning. You don't have a lot of coaches who are able to do that. Right. And my last one goes out to Denzel Clark. That's a GTA all-star right there. If y'all know what GTA means, it's Greater Toronto Area. He had this magnificent home run rob last week. The brother had 9,000 followers. He is currently up to over 16,000 followers just because of that one play alone.
Shouts out. Now, your daughter says, shouts out to my baby Huey. He turned 10.
Yes, my Huey and his uncle, Big Boy, they both turned 10 on yesterday.
Big Boy turned his back on you. Right. Cincinnati trying to pull the banana in the tailpipe.
We're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe.
Right. Just right. He's like, he said, why you say it like that? Put some bass in your voice. Happy Father's Day, fellas, from Steph. Shouts out to Kenny, man. The Pacers did choke, and we think that cost them the series. As a happy Father's Days pour in from Sheila Hastings and AP Culture, I want to send a happy Father's Day out to all of the dads out there, and I want to send a word of, I don't want to say caution, but a plea to the women on social media on tomorrow. Can we not do the real dad post tomorrow? The real men post? Can y'all just sit that one out tomorrow? Please and thank you. If you're having dad problems or baby daddy problems, I'm not minimizing it. I'm not making light of it, but let's just use tomorrow to celebrate the ones who are showing up. And if there's any man in your life that is showing up in that capacity, just show him some love, even if it's just privately. But before you hit send on that, let's try not to hijack Father's Day in that regard, please.
If you're having women problems, I feel sorry for you, son. I got 99 problems, but
a dad ain't one. I want to give a shout out to and a RIP to Ananda Lewis, 52 years old. Man, every day that we wake up is a blessing. So shouts out to her, and shouts out to the Goon Squad. Everybody checking in today. He says, if I'm sure, I wouldn't even play a down for the Bengals.
He does have the option to become a free agent and not even sign with them that way enough, because he was high in the draft.
Yeah.
So obviously other teams probably had him high on his draft board too. So he could say sayonara to the Bengals at all, because he can't go back to college.
Right. I know he was like, damn, in AP Culture's voice. He says, women, no happy Father's Day to yourself. You're just a great mom. Stephanie says, it's not single Mother's Day tomorrow either. Let the men have it. And the thing is, maybe we need to have that day, because that is the toughest job in the world. And my heart and my everything goes out to you, and prayers and encouragement and love and grace and all that go out to all the single mothers out there. And you need your ass whooped to the men who put them in that situation. So don't be coming looking for no gifts tomorrow either. If you fit that description, you just go fall back and sit down somewhere yourself. But on that note, Tasha, AP Culture gave us the green light with the Go Blue. Take us up out of here, T-Sizzle.
Vamos Azul.
We'll see you in 6 days and 23 hours. Until then, peace. Happy Father's Day. I saw through the